Beautiful Karla, handsome Paul, the perfect couple. They held a fairy tale wedding as the police recovered their latest victim.
It's a tragedy of epic proportions.
They loved and laughed in public, raped and murdered in private, including her own little sister.
And they made a video of it.
Paul's in for life, but now Karla, one half of the killing machine, is being set free. Some say just to kill again.
I suspect that all we're going to be doing is setting our watches before the next victim.
The video I've just shown you was taken from a controversial segment of the tabloid television show A Current Affair in 1993. As an American-based TV show, the producers were able to work around the publication ban that a judge imposed last July before sentencing 23-year-old Karla Homolka to 12 years in prison for her role in the sex slayings. The ban was designed to ensure that her estranged husband Paul Bernardo receives a fair trial on 2 charges of first-degree murder. The Canadian courts have no jurisdiction in the United States, therefore American television operates on much fewer limitations. Everyone knows the story of Karla Homolka and Paul Bernardo, the Barbie and Ken killers who seemed just too perfect to have committed the crimes that they did. Together, they raped 4 young women. The first, Homolka's sister, died inadvertently as she choked on her own vomit. 2 of their following victims they subsequently killed, and the last managed to get away. The motivations that encompass these tragic events are sadistic and unquestionably merciless. But why do we care so much? Why have we, as a nation, become so fascinated by the devastating acts of this white, middle-class couple? Media representations of the Homolka-Bernardo case were off the charts. As a society, we are hypnotized by the dangerous, the morbid, and the ugly. The exploitation of the tragic series of events caused by the Ken and Barbie killers can be observed in the form of TV shows, novels, articles, and even a film based on their crimes and trial titled simply Karla.
Jesus is risen. It's no surprise even he would murder his mama to ride the hell.
Stories portrayed in the media are formulated based on public appeal, placing a specific focus on stories with a dramatic, sensationalist, or celebrity component. This appeal is amplified in the case of Homolka by the violent, unexpected, and sexual nature of her crimes. The article, Cashing In on a Tragedy, highlights the book by Nick Prawn, Lethal Marriage: The Unspeakable Crimes of Paul Bernardo and Karla Homolka. Prawn is alleged to have rejected the $12,000 exclusive interview from the inmate living in the cell next to Bernardo. His words to the journalist were, "I've never worked on a story where so many people had their hands out." The book itself is written in the form of a novel, complete with pictures of perpetrators, victims, and even of the parents of the 2 young women who died at the hands of the sadomasochistic couple. It's certainly an interesting read, despite the difficult content throughout the pages. The hook of an uncensored truth behind headlines entails a graphic and disturbing recounting of what the couple did to their victims, with the author sparing no detail whatsoever. But why and how is this book so popular? Researchers have examined the ways in which the institutional processes of television newsmaking forge relationships between viewers and the suffering subject on screen, or in this case through multiple media. The mediation of suffering that newsmaking consists of seeks to act on the spectator as moralizing forces. We can deduce based on this that the fascination with this particular case is fueled by the population's disgust and hatred. The moral labor undertaken by those who invest time and interest into the Homolka Bernardo murders is driven by a strong ethical stance. Now, the alternative to this theory is one that reflects a culture that believes that the rights of the voyeur outweigh the rights of the suffering or the deceased. The captivation we have with such morbid crimes may be a reflection of society's glorification of violence. The name Karla Homolka is renowned because of her crimes committed and the subsequent manner in which she manipulated the criminal justice system to receive a mere 12-year sentence. Karla Homolka has become a celebrity because of media coverage. To meet her is extraordinary, and the notion that she lives a daily life no different than yours or mine seems unpredicted.
It's almost a cartoon evil character. She's been depicted as evil, which obviously she did evil, but she's been depicted as this brilliant genius evil. I didn't meet a genius. I have no idea how dangerous she is. When she left prison, no expert could tell us for sure whether she was likely to reoffend. So it was surreal to meet whoever Karla is now, and it was also to see that she at least appeared to be a fairly rushed, stressed, overly thin mom.
If I didn't turn the water tap off completely, he'd hit me. If I didn't say the right thing, he'd hit me. He held knives to my throat. He told me I better watch my back. He said, always watch your back with me. Her feet were tied with that electrical cord that he used to kill Leslie. And there was electrical cord around her neck. He anally raped her, and then he strangled her after he was done. It stands out really clear in my mind because the night before I left him, he did the exact same thing to me, only he didn't kill me.
Another important element to the outrageous coverage of Homolka was the unexpected turn of events that left the public baffled. What some have called the deal with the devil shocked and enraged countless people after the video recordings of the couple's crimes were discovered, and Homolka appeared to play a keen and active role in the sex slayings. After her trial, she was no longer the battered woman that the courts had originally believed her to be. And not only this, but through media representations of her testimony and the countless stories advocating her innocence, she managed to fool all of us too. Is that why we're so obsessed with her?
Sexual violence and criminality is an attribute that we do not associate with femininity. Rather, we think of a masculine violence as a natural force, both random and inevitable. In 1981, crimes that involved both sex and violence accounted for 2.4% of recorded incidents, when newspaper coverage allotted a grand 45.8% of its content to such stories. The discrepancy is not subtle whatsoever. A study was conducted to measure the reason this discrepancy between actual and reported stories exists, and found that the front page articles on crime over-reported stories against the person and under-reported crimes against the property. The two most overreported crimes are rape and murder. Based on this, is it really hard to believe that we've placed Homolka on a golden pedestal as one of Canada's most notorious female murderers? This title was given to her by media representations. Together with husband Paul Bernardo, they became the Ken and Barbie Killers. Perfect in appearance, destined to be together, the ideal couple. This is the signifying image given to these murderers by our media. Now you tell me, why are we so obsessed?
She'll lie, lie,